right. Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm Sarah Smith. Welcome to our Saturday edition live stream. We do our live streams every Friday at 4 p.m. and every Saturday at 9 p.m. And we're just discussing all different kinds of topics. We have all different kinds of speakers that we have that work here and who come in special for us too, to talk about the things that we're passionate about here at Rogers Gardens. And it's nice that we have so many different people with so many different passions, and we get to share them all with you. And we appreciate you tuning in and checking it out. Yesterday we had Suzanne do a fantastic one. If you missed it, you can always go onto our Facebook page or our Instagram page. We post them later, so if you don't get to it live, you can always watch it later. You can still ask your questions there. We will try to do our best to answer them for you. So she did a great one about how to force bulbs. So talking about forcing narcissus and amaryllis. So narcissus are the paperwhites, very common Christmas item to have in your house. I think becoming even more traditional than poinsettias for some families. Amaryllis is my very traditional Christmas flower that I love to force here. And then today we do them on Saturday morning, so you don't even have to come into the store. You can just grab a cup of coffee, stay in bed, watch us here, and then come in later if you're not a morning person. And today we're going to talk about how to adjust your watering for the new season that we're coming into. So our new winter season that we're in, specifically for vegetables, but I'm going to kind of touch on everything. Good watering practices are super duper important. Last week I was talking about fertilizer, and again, it's not just enough to pick beautiful plants and plan out a really beautiful garden, but you got to take care of it correctly, or otherwise you're not going to be successful, and then you're going to be unhappy with your results. So today we're going to talk about great watering practices. I do want to mention, I have a sign behind me right now, our fall is for planting. This is a fantastic time to get perennials established in your garden, trees, shrubbery, but also all of our fall and winter veggies are also part of that sale right now. So 20% off of all the great things like broccoli and cauliflower and all the beautiful cabbages and kales and all that great stuff. So this is a good time to come in and get your garden started. I just recently started planting up my vegetable beds. My husband even added a new bed for me, so I'm super excited. I have even more space to plant more vegetables, which is really cool. So this is a great time for that. And then come in and take advantage of our sale, which is awesome. 20% off of all of our 4-inch and 6-pack vegetables, gallons included even. So let's talk about watering. If you have questions, please put them in the comments. We answer them live. If you're tuning in later, put your questions into the comments and I'll get back to them later for you as well. And then if I don't touch on something, you can always let me know what you have your questions on. So we are starting to finally cool down. Thank goodness. It's been so hot and so crazy here, hasn't it? So we're finally starting to cool down and get into our cooler season. And this is the time when you want to start really checking your watering, especially if you have automated sprinklers. You can't keep them the same every single day for the whole entire year. It's something that does need to be adjusted. If you're hand watering, this is a time to really pay attention to the garden and see what needs more water, what needs less water. And it looks like we already have a question.
What's this spooky creature holding the water wand?
Isn't he fantastic? This is my pumpkin buddy, so he's helping me out. We sell all different kinds of really amazing pumpkins here at Rogers, and we have these really fantastic arms. And what's really cool about these arms, they look like they're wood, but they're actually bendable and movable, so you can put things in their hands and they can hold it. So I have him holding my water wand. This is my favorite water wand we sell here at Rogers. So I decided I was going to make him hold it for me and be my Vienna White. That was her name, right? Vanna White. It's been a long time since I've seen that show. But anyways, obviously I love Halloween, as you can tell by the outfit. So I'm really excited. We just have a couple more days before it starts. But so watering your garden. This is when you really want to pay attention. We are still having little bits of peaks with heat, but we are getting cooler at nighttime. So this is when you want to adjust your water. I really tell everybody the best way to understand how your garden is getting watered is spend time in it. Be observant. Watch your plants. Feel your soil. There's no better way to know what's going on with the plant than actually sticking your hands into the soil and feeling if it feels wet or not. One of the biggest mistakes that I find that people make with watering is they water too often and they water too shallow. The real key that you want to do with watering is you want to water really slowly, really deeply, but you want to allow the garden and the pots that you have to dry out in between. It can't stay soggy wet all the time. Nobody likes to have wet feet. So plants are the same way. If you keep it super wet, the roots will start to rot, and that's a big problem. So the key, like I said, slow and low and infrequently. So then that way the top of the soil can dry out, but the lower soil stays really wet. And that's how you want to have your garden. Versus like the ground versus pots are going to be different. So you can't be on the same watering schedule for things in the ground as you are in your pots. Pots are going to heat up. Pots are going to dry out faster. The soil is above ground and in either plastic or ceramic or glazed ceramic or terracotta or whatever. So those heat up faster and those need to be watered a little bit more frequently. So like right now in my garden, I live in Huntington Beach. I'm watering my vegetable garden about twice a week, and I'm watering my pots about 3 times a week right now. I'll probably start cutting that down as we start getting cooler, and maybe even getting a little bit of rain here and there. That's another really important thing about having automated sprinklers. If you're hand watering, it's great. I feel like you're really connected to your plants. You kind of know what's going on. You're watching them. You're standing there. You're looking at them. That's when you notice, do you have pests? Do you have powdery mildew? What's going on with your plants? I hand water almost my whole entire garden. And that way I feel like I stay super connected with all of my plants and I know what's going on. If you're using sprinklers, I really suggest that you go out at least once a month and watch your sprinklers run. That's super duper important because you won't know if a problem's happening. The best time to water your garden, if you're hand watering or using automated sprinklers, is super early in the morning. It's better to water early in the morning between like 5 and 10 o'clock. So then that way the foliage has time to dry out over the day. You never want to water at nighttime if you can avoid that, because you don't want your foliage to stay wet at night. That's when you start inviting all kinds of bacterial problems and all kinds of fungus problems. So if you set your sprinklers early in the morning and it's before you actually get out and take a look at it, you don't know what's going on. So one of the sprinklers could be clogged. One of them could be turned into a weird angle and spraying just the sidewalk. One of them can be blocked by another plant that's grown into that spot that you didn't even realize. So checking your sprinklers, watching them run once a month is really super important. And we have a question.
Actually, just a testimonial.
Okay.
If you have drip irrigation out there,
yes,
you could get a little bit of debris.
A little clog.
And then what ends up happening is that the water's shooting somewhere else or not
Absolutely.
at all.
Absolutely.
It's a mess.
Yeah.
So you do need to keep your eyes on these things.
Really, yeah, absolutely. Drip especially too, because it can get clogged really quickly and you won't even realize it. So I tell everybody, you don't have to necessarily drag yourself out of bed and watch it run in the morning. You can run it once in a while, like once a month, later in the afternoon is okay. So I tell everybody, if you're like really dreading doing that, pour yourself a glass of wine, sit outside, watch it go, and just take a look at everything. Make it kind of a ritualistic thing. I really think that that's super important to stay connected, and it does need to be tinkered with all the time. You can't just set it and forget it. That is, I think, one of the biggest pitfalls that people have when they're doing automated is that they just set it 3 times a week and it goes like that year round and they don't even know what's necessarily going on. As we cool down, you don't need to go as often. Your automated sprinklers, drip, spray heads, however you have them going, should never be going daily. I find so many people come in, I ask them how often they're watering, and the most common answer I get is every day for 3 minutes, which is just the worst. All you're doing is creating a really wet surface, and all your roots are going to go up and stay super surface level, and they're searching for that water, and now you have really shallow rooted plants, which are never healthy plants. You want your roots to search deep down low in the ground to look for that water. And the deeper they are, the more healthy your plant's going to be, the more nutrients it's going to be able to take up, and the happier and healthier it's going to absolutely be for you. So definitely don't water every day. You want to give it time in between to dry out, and you want to water really deep. So I would say maybe every 3, depending on if you live inland, every 3 days or so, and then deeper. So you want to go like 7-10 minutes or so. And again, nothing beats watching your irrigation run so you know what it's doing. And then after you've watered, wait about a half an hour, and then go back through the garden and do little dig tests. See how much water is actually penetrating. You'll be surprised. I think a lot of times people don't realize they're watering super shallow. Even when I'm hand watering, I'll go back occasionally, start in an area, finish up, go back to the area that I started in. I do a little dig down, and it's still really dry down there, and I didn't water deep enough. So I think that's the biggest thing I want to impart on everybody, is that you really want to check what you're doing and go back and double check it and make sure you're watering deeply. Some of my favorite things that I love when it comes to watering, I love all of the sprinkler the water wands and this heads that we have here. I love an adjustable head. This is my favorite one. This is the one I have in on all my hoses at home. What's really great about this is you have a soaker, you have a mist, you have a center spray. Watering also too is a really great way to get rid of pests. So you don't have to always rely on chemical sprays to get rid of all of your pests and stuff. Actually, watering down your plant foliage early in the morning is a really, really great way to combat all of the soft-bodied insects. So I put my head on the heavy jet set, and then I spray down my citrus about once a month. So I think that's really an important thing to do. We don't really have spring showers, so our plants really don't get a chance to get washed down. So this is a really great way to combat a lot of problems. The key is doing it in the morning instead of doing it in the evening, though. You never really want to get your foliage wet. When you're watering, just through your week, you don't want to water your foliage. That's going to create a lot of issues watering that foliage. So you really want to make sure you're just watering the ground. But occasional spray once a month is really great to help with pests and things like that. Another question.
Can you talk a little bit about signs of overwatering?
Yes, absolutely. So I have an example that I pulled of something that's overwatered so you can see what it looks like. So this right here is this lovely broccoli that we have, and this poor guy is so super overwatered right now. You can see even as I move it, the leaves are falling off. So a lot of times seeing overwater, and I think a lot of people would panic and think, oh my gosh, it needs more water, because it does look a little bit similar. But the difference you're gonna see with the overwatering is these leaves are really yellow, but when I smash them, they don't crumple. They don't like crumb up into little tiny pieces. They actually just like smush together. This is an overwatered plant. What has happened with this one is a lot of people who, when they're starting seeds, they'll start it in a cocoa fiber, which is great to get your plant started, but if they stay in this for too long and don't get planted in the ground, this holds a lot of water. So I find that starting in seeds in this is great, but you can't leave it in this ultimately for a long time because it stays constantly wet. And then all of these are all just popping right off, and it's turning super, super yellow. And the reason it's turning yellow is that there's no more nutrients in this anymore, and the plant can't take that up. And then once your roots start having issues with rotting on the tips, you can't bring a plant back from rotting. You can bring a plant back from underwatering, but you can't bring a plant back from it being too wet, and once it starts to rot, it's pretty much done for. So I don't think this plant's at the point of rotting, but it's definitely at the point of not having any more nutrients left in the soil, not being able to take up that nutrients because it's just far too wet, and definitely needs to go in the ground. Once this plant gets in the ground, and if you see a plant like this, it's not far gone. Once you get it into the ground and get it into normal soil, it's really great. This guy just needs to go on the ground, and that's really it. So the keys are: don't overwater, water deeply, water infrequently, Making sure that you're fertilizing too, especially in containers, because the fertilizer flushes out of a container super fast versus in the ground. And then that way you have a really happy, successful plant. We also have really great assortment of different watering cans too. I really love this when it comes to fertilizing. I can put my fertilizer in here. I love the nice big head on this and the great big size. I can't stand a dinky watering can. That drives me crazy because you don't want to keep filling it up and walking around and filling it up and walking around. So it's nice we have these nice, great big watering cans here right now. I love all the different colors that we have them all in too. But this is great when you're adding fertilizers to your water, kelp meal and things like that, because you can mix it up in a nice big can like this and get that watered into the ground. So, any more questions? No? We're all good? So everybody's watering experts now? Oh, we have one more.
Yes, we do have one more. The question is, can you tell us what fertilizer works best for an edible garden?
Okay, so I actually did bring something with me. We have all different kinds of fertilizers. I'm a lazy gardener because I do it here at work all day and I get home and I'm a little bit lazy, I'm gonna admit it. I love using dry fertilizers. Everything we sell here at Rogers Gardens is organic. We've been organic for 10 years solidly. We don't sell any systemics. We don't sell any of the big box brands that you see that are filled with blue crystals and food coloring and all kinds of gross things. Everything we do here is organic. Down to Earth makes a fantastic dry fertilizer, and what I love about that is I can just sprinkle it on the ground, water it in and go. I don't have to mix it up into a watering can. The one thing that I really do like though when I'm mixing up into a watering can is we have this Malibu compost tea. This is a fantastic product. I love this so much. This is not going to replace your regular fertilizing. So I always kind of try to equate it to how humans think about themselves in nutrition. A regular fertilizer is like taking your vitamins. This is like taking your probiotics. So this is a great thing to go on top of your fertilizer. I use this only about once a month, even every other month or so. This is a tea, so this is really different. And I like to show people this because a lot of people don't really understand what it is. So this is a tea bag that you would just plop right into your watering can. You fill it up with water, you let it sit overnight, and then you water it into all of your plants. And you can fill this up a couple of times and reuse that tea bag in something like this. I actually usually put mine into a 5-gallon bucket and then I dip my watering can into it to pull the water out of that so I don't have to keep waiting every single time. But what's really amazing about this is this has, it has a little bit of manure in it, so it does have some nitrogen in here, but it's a low dose on it. But this also has worm castings and kelp meal. The worm castings adds all kinds of great enzymes to your plants that help them fight off pests. So it's almost like a natural systemic, which is great. The kelp meal, singing nettle, dandelion, chamomile, yarrow. It comes from a biodynamic farm that's local here, which I think is super fantastic. And it really has made such a difference in my stuff. So we sell a bunch of different ones. This is for flowering plants and roses. I love this on my roses. My roses have never been better since I've started using this. But we sell a vegetable specific one. We sell an all-purpose one. We even sell one for houseplants. So this is a really, really fantastic product that I absolutely love. And again, I'm lazy. So you throw the bag in there, you fill it up with water, you let it sit overnight, you come back, you water it in. You look like you're the most master gardener in the world because this really makes your plants absorb all the nutrients from all the fertilizers that you're putting in the ground and adds all those great enzymes and stuff. So this is a really great one. We sell this here at Rogers. Again, the Down to Earth is the powdered one. This is Malibu compost tea. They also make really, really great potting soils and really great composts. It's a fantastic company. Once you start using this, you will look like the most amazing, awesome, fantastic gardener in the world, and it's super, super easy to use. So please join us. We're actually starting to do some of our live streams on Thursdays as well. So we will have one this Thursday. We're usually talking about the Christmas boutiques and the different things we have in the store. We have them on Fridays at 4, and then of course our Saturday ones. You can always check all our old ones too, and then we post them on our website of what our upcoming ones are coming up to. And another question?
Just something really brief. Somebody wants to know, they love your hat. Tell us about your hat. You can finish with that.
So I'm a huge Halloween person. I absolutely love Halloween. We have such a great Halloween room here every single year. It's a different theme. It's starting to wind down now, and Christmas is kind of in full force here, but I figure this is the last week I can get away with all of my fantastic costumes. This little witch hat I got was very inexpensive, bought it online. One of the common places everybody used to buy books, and now they buy everything else. But I got this cute little hat there. I even got one in a khaki color because we're allowed to wear khaki colors too. So it's a great little sun hat. It's nice now that it's cooler. I always wear a sun hat when I'm working here, so I figured this was a great one to wear, very festive, perfect for the season. So I appreciate it. Thank you. Again, check out our YouTube page. We have great stuff there as well. Please feel free to share this with all your friends and family. Check out all our other ones that we have coming up. You can always shop our online boutique. We have fantastic things. So if you can't make it into the store, we do curbside pickup still as well. We are open from 9 to 6. We're going to be changing fairly soon for our Christmas season. We'll be open till 8 o'clock. And then you can come and enjoy all the beautiful Christmas lights we have here. And be well and be safe and happy gardening. Thanks for joining me. Bye.